Well. You guys know we've been on the beat for a while. We have been covering the find out stage of the comedians that fucked around and got in the tank for MAGA. A lot of these guys, they only got in the tank for MAGA. They only decided to support Donald Trump because they thought it was going to be good for their bottom line. They thought it was going to be good for their podcast. Oh man, he's really edgy. Oh, people don't take Trump that seriously anymore. Oh, come on, he's old. He was already president once and nothing happened. Come on, guys. We'll fuck around and we'll all just become MAGA bros, right? The entire Rogan sphere, all of those guys, Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Tim Dillon, Theo Vaughn. List goes on, right? Too many for comfort. They all came out and they were like, you know what? He seems like a cool guy, man. He's all about pussy, bro. I love money and pussy, bro. He loves money and pussy, bro. I don't care about fascism. I don't care about the fact that he has absolutely no regard for democracy, institutions, the Constitution, any of that stuff. These guys love to be like, I just care about the Constitution, bro. Until Donald Trump was running for president. So it's absolutely, I don't want to call it hysterical to watch them get in the tank for the guy, for them to all just destroy their credibility as free speech people because they decided to go and do the easy road. They decided, you know what, guys, instead of doing the hard thing, which is to make politically astute observations or keep my mouth shut, I'm just going to go and do the easy thing, which is ride this easy media wave of Donald Trump. Anyway, Tim Dillon, for as much as he likes to front like he's some dumb guy in this clip, I think he's like, oh, explain it to me, bro. I'm just a college dropout. But even he's a really smart guy, right? You have to be really smart to do what he does for a living, to be as subversive as he is, even if you hate the guy. I think a lot of his comedy is mid. I think some of it's pretty good. I think his political instincts are lousy, and I think they're very selfish and self-centered, right? I think he's a narcissistic guy. That's what makes him a good comedian. But even he is having to come to terms with the fact that they were all duped, that they were all conned, that every single one of them were lied to, and he fell for it. And not only did he fall for it, he convinced his audience to fall for it, guys. He duped them all. He was like, you know what? The wool's going to be over my eyes. Really, it was the green over his eyes from all the fucking money he was making. But he was like, sure, I'll pull the wool over the eyes of all of my audience as well. And now he's like, hold the phone. We have legitimate fascism in this country now. We have insane crackdowns on free speech. We talked about it the other day. He was really upset. He was like, guys, I have to come out and say something about this. This is really wrong. I'm a comedian. He's a comedian. We have a kind of a brotherhood. Gavin and I did a video about that you guys might have seen. We were like, okay, so here is the line for these people, right? It's whenever it's going to seriously impact them. They saw a comic get impacted by Donald Trump, so they all started to change their tune. But at this point, Tim Dillon is not stopping. He's not pulling any punches. He is going scorched earth on Donald Trump. Why? Because Donald Trump keeps sending the military to our fucking cities. Now, Tim Dillon is a fucking Republican, and I don't want to hear anything differently, right? This guy has too much Long Island in him for him to ever run from all the Republican inside him. It's, not that he seems like much of a runner, but I digress. Even he has had to come out here and be like, this is absolutely pathetic bullshit. This is un-American. I'm going to play a little bit of this clip and then chime in more. But I wanted you guys to see, hey, MAGA is turning on Donald Trump because of this insane, illegal U.S. occupation. He wants to have power in all 50 states implicitly, right? He wants to have full control over all 50 states of America. He wants to squash dissent. He wants to eradicate Democrats, guys. Not only is he's coming for all of us at one point or another. It's all just a triage. It's all just a matter of who is going to get it first. But he will eventually come for all of us. Any dissident of the Donald Trump regime will be squashed if we let him. So it's really important at times like this that we speak out, and even people who have been previous loud, ardent supporters of Donald Trump are like, hey, this isn't right. I think it's important that we take a look at that. Let's do it now.
Well, yes, but we don't need the Marines in Chicago. I agree. The Democratic Party's done a terrible job with public safety. But the idea that we're going to have the Marines in Chicago and we're going to be so let me get this straight. I'm just trying to understand.
Even a guy who has bought into this crime hysteric narrative, right? Which we all know violent crime is down. Every single year, violent crime goes down. Occasionally, it'll tick back up a little bit, but year over year, we see dramatic decreases in violent crime, right? But even still, even as a guy who has completely bought that Fox News narrative, even as a guy who has completely bought that Fox News narrative, like Tim Dillon obviously has here, he's like, bro, nobody in this country wants Marines occupying their cities. It feels dystopian. It feels like Nazi Germany. It feels like my great, great, great grandparents fought a revolution because of that shit.
Again, I'm a college dropout. The money to build the educational institutions and the infrastructure in America, things like hospitals, things we need, that gets shipped to Israel. The Marines and the National Guard get sent into the cities where that money could have been used to better the lives of the people. That seems to make no sense.
Yeah, it was exactly what everybody like myself, like I would imagine anybody who's watching this video, it was what we were screaming at the top of our lungs was going to happen. Donald Trump is going to continue to pour money to Israel. He's going to continue to destroy the economy. And because of the consequences of those two things, which he will sure as daylight do, because it will lead to his own personal increase in wealth, go ahead and look up how much money Donald Trump has already made for himself since becoming president this time around. Guys, it's in the billions. Billions. Okay. Donald Trump was not a true, authentic billionaire until he became president. Now he's a billionaire like 6 or 7 times over, depending on the figures you look at. Okay. So it's all about the personal enrichment of Donald Trump. We know that, right? We know he didn't care about anything else. So what's he going to do when he destroys the lives of every single person who voted for him, or anybody who didn't vote for him, or anybody who voted for somebody else, right? People who didn't vote at all, maybe they're all getting it too. You're all getting it. We're all getting it. Why? Because he has to squash dissent. Right? When you make people's lives shittier and you just enrich yourself, that makes people mad. That makes them resent you. Well, how do you maintain or retain rather control on a situation when everybody is out to get you, when all of your allies turn on you? Oh, yeah, you make sure that you have unilateral maximum control from the presidency and you're occupying any hub in the United States of America where you think dissent could thrive, like blue cities. It's absolutely crazy. It's exactly what we warned would happen. And guys like Tim Dillon are finally waking up to it. Let's see if they're sincere or not.
We tell the Ukraine to keep fighting Putin, and we keep selling them weapons and then giving them weapons, and then
so annoying when people call it the Ukraine. What is this, 1990? It's just Ukraine. You don't call it the France.
Giving them loans and then giving them money, and the money that could have been used in an American city for, and then we kick a bunch of people off Medicaid. We kick a bunch of people off Medicaid in America and close a bunch of rural hospitals because there's like $1 trillion in Medicare cuts. But the money goes to the Ukraine and Israel. And then we put the National Guard in Portland. And then Pete Hegseth calls a meeting of 800 generals and go, I don't want fatties and I don't want anyone with a beard because we're a tough country. We're the Department of War. And you go, yeah, but you people are getting cocked. And
yeah, you're a fat drunk and go ahead and take a look at our president. What is this? North Korea? I swear, these guys talk about, like, they fearmonger all day about, like, North Korea, communist China. Like, what the hell do you call this? What do you call exactly what we're living through? And this is a guy that was, like I said, as MAGA as they come. He was happy as a clam to go, yep. Oh, Donald Trump, he really understands the media. Well, he's a self-made guy, and oh, the liberals are so woke and they're just crazy and they won't do anything about crime. He was so happy to play the role of not even a useful idiot, guys. Like I said, he is actually kind of bright, if you could believe it, after a lot of the material you've probably seen come out of his mouth. Tim Dillon is actually a smart guy. That's why I'm covering this, because his audience does have this idea that every single comedy bit that he's doing is like revealing some sort of real political truth that, oh, that's actually what Tim means. And they all have their own interpretation of it. This is him being clear as day. Donald Trump is a fraud. Donald Trump screwed you. Donald Trump sent all the money that should have made your life better somewhere else, refused to tax anybody to create more income to make your life better, started doing tariffs out the wazoo, so the value of the American dollar is down 10% on the year, which is unheard of. Okay, we've got beef prices, the most American fucking staple of the meat market. It's up 30% at least. I was looking at a report today that saw athletic shoes up 18%. Bags and other accessories up double digits as well. This is insane, guys. The American dollar is going like this. The cost of everything is going like this, and wages are stagnant. And on top of that, our whole fucking government is shut down. Do you know why our government's shut down, Tim? Because the Democrats are doing everything in their power right now to make sure that more people don't get kicked off of Medicaid, to make sure that more fucking rural hospitals don't close up because of this made up reason that illegal immigrants are getting health care. One, so what if they were? People got health care in the richest country in the world. Would it be so goddamn terrible? Would it be so awful if that was what was happening? And two, it's not even happening. I don't even have to come out here and justify it to you guys, which I would do happily. If it was actually going on in this country, I would say healthcare is a human right and every single person on planet Earth is entitled to it. They teach you that in medical school, but then you're supposed to forget when you go out and practice, right? Because of our fucking pernicious healthcare system. All right, it's absolutely insane. That's something that Tim Dillon also brought up in this video, right? But it was your guy that's doing it. I don't see you out here praising the Democrats. I don't see you out here saying, thank you for doing this. Thank you for holding the line. Donald Trump, take this out of the bill. Make sure that the American people do not lose access to their health care in record numbers at a time of joblessness, right? Let's talk about the mass layoffs that are happening. Let's talk about the hiring freeze. Let's talk about the fact that Donald Trump's administration repeatedly lied about job loss numbers to cover up how devastating the impacts of their policy have been on the economy, guys. It's crazy. It's so crazy. If you feel like you're going crazy, you're not. You're having the rational response because, like I said, even MAGA-pilled, right-wing brained assholes like Tim Dillon are seeing this for what it is.
Giving money to places that have their zero national security interest in the United States of America. We shouldn't be in these wars. And you're either unable or unwilling to pull out of them. And then you think that...
I like how he still has to let him off the hook. Oh, he might be unable to do it. He's the president of the United States, Tim. He's the president of the United States.
The American people are going to be so stupid, they go, oh, this guy's a badass because no one has a beard. What a tough guy. He told people to do some sit-ups. And then more billions out the door. More billions to Israel. Netanyahu visits the White House again. That guy's there every other day. He might be there more than Trump. So, again, it doesn't seem to make any sense to everyone.
These are the guys that got Donald Trump elected. Seriously, go Google it. Go listen to Donald Trump's own people, his own administration. If you look at the folks that were integral to his campaign, what do they talk about all the time? They talk about how it was podcasters who really sealed the deal. They rehabilitated his entire image. The image that Tim Dillon is projecting of Donald Trump, that's the image that everybody had in their brain of Donald Trump when he left office, right? When he left office after January 6th, right? 15 days later, 14 days later, exactly after that happened, people had a very clear image of Donald Trump in their head. This was a guy who was a complete disaster during COVID. This was a guy who, instead of unifying the country, deeply divided the country. He let anti-vax conspiracies take over the party that he oversaw, take over the entire country. He deeply resisted any of the protective measures that Democrats were trying to take. He really left people to figure this out on their own, states to figure this out on their own. It was a disaster. That's why people voted for Joe Biden. And then to watch him try and steal the election, for him to deny the outcome of our democratic election in this country, the United States of America, People were like, no more of that. We're pissed off, even if we voted for you. They were like, this is crazy. You can't do that. You can't just decide you're going to be the president again. I mean, that is insane. It's crazy. It's criminal. Yes, criminal. And people had that understanding. People were like, yep, we saw that with our own eyes. We don't want that guy anywhere near the White House ever again. But what happened? What happened was guys like Tim Dillon. What happened was guys like Joe Rogan. What happened was guys like Theo Vaughn came out here and every single day, little by little, sanitized his reputation. Little by little, one joke at a time, they came out here and rehabilitated a dangerous, dangerous man, Donald J. Trump. So much so that everybody seemingly forgot that he was the guy who had already been the president, already bungled everything. He'd already been the president, that he'd already abandoned every promise he made one time around. He never built his wall. He never did anything to bring the jobs back. He never combated inflation. He absolutely ruined the economy. When he left office, the economy was a train wreck, guys. It was a fucking disaster. It was indescribable. The shambles that our economy was in 2021 when Joe Biden took office. I swear to God, go look at those numbers for yourself. It's unimaginable, right? And this guy, he does a complete 180 on his entire reputation. He gets convicted of some 34, 36 felonies, an astronomical amount. Little by little, these comedians, one joke at a time, they completely rehabilitated him. So obviously, you should never take anything that these guys say too seriously, but I think it's really indicative of a changing tide, right? It's really indicative of the fact that Tim stuck his finger in the wind and he was like, dude, I can't justify this anymore. My audience isn't with this anymore. You have completely left the threshold of what I can defend, and I can defend a lot, right? So because that's happening, we have to come out here and we have to say, okay, guys, we know we're winning the battle of ideas. We know the resistance is popular. We know that people are rejecting the way Donald Trump is running our country. So we have to capitalize off of that. We have to stay vigilant, and we have to make sure that people understand they need to be politically active and engaged. It's not enough to watch a YouTube video. You need to go out, register to vote, make sure you show up at your next local election. Peace out. Thanks for watching.